Hey y'all, it's Jimmy Stovall. Welcome to my podcast, Ribbin with Jimmy. Whether I'm in the restaurant or on TV, one of my favorite things is talking to people and hearing their stories. And I believe the best way to have a great conversation is over a meal. Welcome in, Malcom Reed. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I'm super excited. I feel like I'm starstruck a little bit here in the barbecue world. And people think I'm in the barbecue world. You are the barbecue master. Holy cow.
I don't know about that.
Well, I would say so. I would say so. So, first of all, thanks for coming. My podcast is served over a meal because I think that's the best way to meet somebody or have a conversation.
All you had to say to me.
You said, I got food. Okay, I'll be there. So for the listeners who are not familiar with you, maybe not in the barbecue space or thinking about getting into it and want someone to follow, I'm going to give them a little bit of background on you. You've competed in more than 100 competitions, barbecue competitions across the country.
I've lost count.
That's a nice thing. That's a good thing. You're multi-grand champion, MBN, the KCBS, SCA Cook-Off. That's incredible.
Yeah.
In Memphis, which is the biggest barbecue competition in the world, you won patio division in 2006, which sent you into the pro level.
That was what turned us pro. Yeah.
How about that?
That's a long time ago.
Yeah. And you've been in barbecue for 20 years.
Yep.
And to give you a little more, so you have a website, How to BBQ Right. You do How to Barbecue cooking classes. I want to hear more about those because a friend of mine went to one. He said it was fantastic. Here's a decent stat, and I'll tell you why I say it's decent. My son, who is 16, I asked him last night, "Hey, what's a good number on YouTube to have followers?" That's all he watches is YouTube.
Yeah.
And then he goes, and I go, I don't mean something crazy, but just like what's a good, and he just kind of hesitated. And I said, the guy I have on my podcast tomorrow has 1.35 million followers. And he goes, that's solid, Dad. So that to me is the stamp of approval. And you've got 250,000 followers on Instagram, 500,000 followers on Facebook, and you started your site in 2007. And now you've just clicked over 1 million followers on TikTok?
We started TikTok back in January, so we hit that in 11 months. Yeah.
Wow. I love to.
Those kids are on TikTok, man. That's
kids,
a whole different demographic.
And adults. I mean.
It's a whole different demographic.
I am totally, it's going to eat my life away at night because I'll turn around and I'm like, what happened in the last hour?
Yeah, just get in that swipe mode, man.
Oh, my gosh, you do. Yeah, and then some of my friends say, do you only communicate in TikToks now? Because I pretty much I'm like, oh, look at this one, look at that one, look at this one. So it's great. But I'm very excited to have you here. I mean, I think that you are truly, you're the go-to for barbecue. And you're from, where in Mississippi?
Hernando, Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Right down the road.
That metropolis.
That's it. I say Memphis. I can't say Memphis to a Memphian.
Right, but outside of here,
if you're not from Memphis, if I say Hernando, it was like, where's that?
Right.
If I say Memphis, it gets them close.
All right, so let's get started. So I have appetizer section where we kind of get to know you a little bit. Then we go to the main course where I say we get into the meat of it and get to know who you are and what's made you, what makes you tick and what's made you successful. And then we'll have a dessert section. And so, since you're a barbecue guy, I decided to steer away from the barbecue side and start off with some of Corky's fried drummies.
Hey, I've never had these at Corky's.
Are you kidding me?
I've had the fried catfish, and
you haven't had the drummies.
No,
dude, dig in.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm a flat man too.
So look,
I
love the flats.
Yeah.
I love the flats.
I've got one staring at me here.
So we have done. Now we do wings, but we used to. The reason I said drummies is because that's what we did for years and years. But this right here, this is probably one of the most popular things for people like in the know. And I love items like that at a restaurant where you're like, what's the item? You might not go, well, I'm not going to get that here because that doesn't seem like that might fit. I'm telling you, everybody in Memphis who's known Corky's forever and they entertain, they pick up our fried drummies and they put them out and they're freaking great.
I'm telling you, man, these are jam up.
I mean, they're They're crunchy, they're meaty, they're big.
Crust on them's fantastic.
Aren't they good? See,
I don't know how you're affording these chicken wings now.
Oh, hell, yeah. There's about $10 a piece on there.
That's what I'm saying. Chicken wing prices go crazy.
Yeah. And we do them with a little dipping sauce. You can do them with blue cheese, ranch, whatever. But I thought that might be a good start. They're crunchy, and I wasn't sure if you had them or not. But
I have not.
If you wanted like the inside item that not everyone knows to get, it's the Drummies.
And these are on the menu too at the restaurant.
Yeah, they always have been. Yeah.
Hey, Olive Branch store better watch out. We're coming through there.
Mm-hmm. All right, so when you go out to a restaurant, do you always start with an appetizer?
Usually. I like to try different stuff. I'm one of those people that's like, let's get something for the table.
Okay.
Let's all try, and let's talk about it.
Okay.
So this fits right in my wheelhouse.
So you're not bad with sharing. You're okay with sharing.
No, man.
See, I'm stingy.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I never like to share. If I ordered an appetizer, my wife will say, "Oh, I might try some of that." I'm like, I ordered that for me. But she grew up with, there's 9 of them. And so she grew up sharing, and I'm better at it now. But I do like to, when we go to places, and I've gotten much better at it, where we get a couple different appetizers, and everybody just picks and shares. I love that. Try different things.
I love, I'm always looking for inspiration. So when I go to restaurants, if it's on the menu and I've never tried it, I've got to get it.
Yeah.
Because you never know where you might be inspired in something, especially like crispy. Now, I've been doing since football started this year. I've been doing a Monday night wing recipe.
Yeah.
Not just a video, but usually it's just a wing recipe I'm trying, and I'll cook it, take some pictures, and put it up. And man, fried wing like that would be jam up.
I love wings.
That's my favorite piece of chicken.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So you work with your wife?
I do, Rochelle. Yeah. She's probably what got me into doing this for a living.
Really?
Yeah. I never.
So what'd you do before?
I was in commercial construction as an intern architect.
And so you just said one day, I think I'm gonna compete on barbecue.
No, so I always competed in barbecue. So
okay.
We were even growing up, and you're from the Memphis area. Memphis in May was the huge thing.
Absolutely.
That's the mecca of all barbecue competitions.
Yeah.
I've been going to that since I was a kid. And down in South Haven, where I grew up, which is right across the state line, they had South Haven Spring Fest.
Okay.
It was our yearly town festival, but it was a tune-up. It was always in April. So these big Memphis and May teams would come down, and they would work on their recipes or, work out what they're going to do for Memphis and May the next month.
Uh-huh.
And as a kid, we would go and run around. Parents would have friends with teams, and so we took it for granted. I didn't know what they were.
Right.
Didn't know how. I knew it was fun, but I didn't know anything about cooking barbecue growing up. Our family was around barbecue.
Yeah.
Every holiday, there was somebody with a grill. We were cooking ribs before the.
It's really funny you say that. On QVC, I say all the time, to me, what barbecue is friends and family.
Yes.
Because when you have friends and family around, I don't know if it's just growing up in the South or where we're from, but it's barbecue. You have barbecue. And whether it's grilled chicken or barbecue sauce this or pulled pork or ribs, whatever, you have barbecue.
Yeah.
I mean, you do. And so that's what it takes me, because I always think it's so nostalgic to me, barbecue is.
Yeah.
Because you're always around friends and family. Someone said one time, no one barbecues by themselves.
Yeah, that's right. It's no fun by yourself.
That's right. So, so did you grow up? So, like you said, when you grew up, y'all had barbecue around for holidays and whatever. Did your dad cook? Did your mom cook?
Yeah, they did, but not to they did it just to feed folks.
Right.
It wasn't like they were into competition cooking or anything like that.
Right.
My dad would just want to be on the grill. Or my mom would want to, smoke a turkey or something.
Right.
So that's how I took that for granted. It wasn't until I discovered how much fun it was at a contest where, high school, early college, it was like tailgating to me.
Of course.
And that was so we've got, we've got drinks there, we've got grills
and there's
there,
a
we're
purpose.
playing with fire. You can pick up chicks. I mean, I was in. Sign me up. So I figured out real quick, if you got your own team, people are just going to come hang out with you. And
That's right.
We treated it as a party.
Yep.
There was never a serious. I wasn't there to win a competition.
Right.
I mean, we didn't get into that till later on.
Yeah.
It was just a bunch of guys having a team. And you're part of a team.
I am.
So
you
know that aspect.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's what hooked me.
See, my real life is barbecue, so my barbecue team life is the party.
Yeah,
it's the tailgate.
Yeah. And so that was what back then I always said, man, if I can't party and have fun like this, I won't do it.
Yeah, right.
And so I've always treated everything like that.
Yep.
To me, and still, I love competing. I love the competition. I love trying to win. But really, it's more about the camaraderie, the fun time, sharing with people and all that. That's why I still do it.
I totally agree. And I've always loved it. And I had mentioned this to you earlier. And what I love about Corky's, but it goes with barbecue too, is everyone has a story. If you go, oh, work for Corky's. Oh, I went to Corky's one time. Or, oh, I'm in the barbecue business. Oh my gosh, I have this new smoker. Or I have this. Like it's like a push a play button on a recorder. Someone's got a story with it, and not everything is like that. Like you said with construction earlier, I just was like, all right. I don't have anything, but everybody. I think it's such a cool area of business, because everyone has a story that goes along with it and can add to it. So where did you meet Rochelle?
So that's, I think we were planning a barbecue contest. We were hanging out at just a local restaurant bar there in South Haven called O'Charlie's. I know you've heard of O'Charlie's. That was kind of a hangout spot back in the day. We were getting together, planning our Spring Fest. And Rochelle, we had some mutual friends, and she was up there hanging out, and she heard me talking about needing a bigger grill to cook food for everybody, because not only did we go and compete, it was all about cooking for all the people that was going to be there hanging out,
which to me is the fun part.
Yeah, that really was
serving and entertaining people.
Yeah. And so she spoke up and said, hey, my dad's got a grill, he'd love to let you borrow it. And I was like, okay. I didn't know I didn't know her at all.
Right.
She said, no, really, let me call him and ask him. So he had one of these big homemade hog cooker pits. It's one of the big ones you can roll up, and I said, that'll work. And so he brought it up from Jackson, Mississippi. That was where she was from. She had moved up here after going to college and took a job. And so he brought it up, and we used it. And, man, I was like, man, this girl's all right.
Yeah.
And so
her dad's got a smoker.
Yeah, her dad's got a smoker. I mean,
you're in.
And so I was in, yeah. And so she became like head of the party planning committee. That's what they called it. We would cook the barbecue and the food, and we'd do all that, but the women would do the party planning.
Yeah,
so they would decorate and all that.
She made sure it looked
stuff.
Good, and everybody brought a side.
We hit it off.
Yeah.
And she would always hear like us talking about, if conversations are going somewhere, me on the phone talking to my buddies about barbecue.
Yeah.
If we're out with somebody wants to talk barbecue. She said, you talk barbecue so much, why don't we start a website up and share some of this stuff? And I was like, nobody wants to hear, this is just
right.
This is us in our little part of the world, right outside of in Memphis area, talking, because the internet wasn't a big thing then.
Yeah,
you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have people sharing all this stuff. Barbecue was always one of those things where people kept those recipes secret. They were family recipes that were passed down, and you didn't share them.
Right.
And I kind of flipped the script on it. I said, you know what, I'll do it if anybody wants to, watch what we're doing. So at the time we started a newsletter. She was doing some internet marketing work. I was doing architecture. And on the side, I would, write this little newsletter about what I was doing in competition barbecue. This might be.
And so where'd you put it out? Where'd you put it?
She made killerhogs.com.
Okay.
And that was our first. That was
like
our
a blog
name.
almost.
Yeah, it was a blog. Yeah. It was basically a blog, but it was really just a newsletter. You sign up.
Yeah.
So somebody would send their email in and subscribe, and we'd send them a free weekly or bi-weekly newsletter.
And so then people would subscribe. They would read your newsletter. And you saw some interest, obviously. More people, I'm sure people would tell people like, hey, look at this. This guy knows how to barbecue, or whatever he's saying that people enjoyed. How did that go from, I've got the nerve to do this? Because what fascinates me the most with people in business and success is when you start out, you're just like everyone else. Don't you? I'm no different. I started in the drive-thru here for $5.25 an hour. I'm no different than anything else. What gave you that, well, I might as well just try it? Like, I think the difference is, some people don't try it. They might have a great idea, they don't try it, and some people do. Like, what gave you that, little nudge to go, I'm just going to do it?
Well, we started, when I was competing in barbecue competitions, we were making, how Memphis in May, you set the judge down and you let them taste your seasonings.
Yeah. You tell them all the story.
You tell them all the stories.
Yeah.
Well, I was making the seasonings to bring to the contest to tell the judges about. And we started winning. And so people, every time I would go to a contest, somebody would say, hey, man, would you mind making me a pound of rub?
Okay.
Or, let me buy some of that seasoning. And I was making it, in 3 pounds. I didn't need it all. So I wanted to make it fresh. So I'd bring it and I started selling it.
Yeah.
So Rochelle, as we were doing the newsletter, she said, well, let's think about selling this rub.
Yeah.
It was just the one dry rub that I do.
But it also makes you, and I believe that when you're making this rub, you're winning. People love coming to your booth or whatever, your tailgate, your tent. But when someone goes, hey, can I get some of that? Can I buy that? That validates you.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's pretty good. Yeah. They don't want to just know how to do it. They want mine.
That's right. I
mean, that's pretty awesome.
And not only that, it was like we were doing it bootleg style, man. I was mixing it up on the kitchen table, and I had a vacuum sealer. I would seal it.
Yep.
And so we made the little website, and we had it to where you could buy a bottle or a 3-pound bag, because that's the only way I could do it. And I bought me some plastic bottles and a heat gun, and it's completely against the law. I don't recommend doing it for anybody.
That's right. But that's how you got started.
It was cottage industry. So that went on for several years.
I just say it was different back then.
Yeah, it was different. It was different back then.
We didn't wear seatbelts.
Yeah, that's right. But so that was happening 2006, 2007. We were still young and new to all that. In 2008, the recession hit.
Yep.
And commercial construction took a dive, and so I was low man on totem pole. I lost my job.
Yeah. As so many people did.
Yeah, and I was like, oh crap, what am I going to do? Well, I had this little rub business going, and then so I said, well, we'll keep doing the newsletters, and at that time, YouTube still hadn't come along.
Right.
We were still just doing newsletters, website, trying to compete where we could, and found out my wife was expecting. So we were here, all of a sudden we got a kid on the way, so I got to go back to work.
Right.
So I went and got on another job with another architect firm, and I worked that, and then construction took another nosedive. So it was like 2009.
Yeah.
Had a newborn, had lost my job. They gave me a pretty nice severance package, and at the time I'd been mixing up this rub on the table.
Right.
And I said, man, I've got to see if it's time. I can't mix up enough. Or we've got every bowl in the kitchen counters
being used.
Yeah, and so I said, we've got I've got a little bit of money. We had a little bit of savings. We had figured out 6 months worth of bills
before you fell off the edge.
Before I had to go deliver pizzas. And so we took that money and we bought we went and worked with a co-packer, and I'd been working with some people to get it bottled. And so we bought this one pallet of our seasoning.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is it, sink or swim moment. I got to sell it now. I got enough money that we can pay our house note and car notes and everything for 6 months.
Yeah.
And after that, we're going to have to change something. And we hadn't looked back. We both worked,
was that a necessity? So was that a necessity? It was a necessity.
Yes, that was the jump. That was the leap moment to where it's sink or swim.
And so before we get to the main meal, there had to be so many times where you thought, well, this isn't going to work.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm going to have to do it. I mean, I think of my career, and I've told many people this, because I believe that you can do anything you want to do. My mom always kind of said it. I didn't realize what she was really saying, but I always just believed I can just keep going and doing whatever I wanted to. And when you get to hurdles and roadblocks, there's a lot of times that you go, this is it. Like, it's not going to work or whatever, or I'm done or whatever it is. But then there's something in me that's like this fighter that goes, no, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going because I know that I can get there. And it sounds similar to you, because you had this rub, it was working. You also had this timeline that you had to really make it work, within this timeline. So you weren't out, looking for another job.
That's right. Well, I guess we're kind of, me and Rochelle are kind of yin yang. I would, if I was down, she was up.
Okay.
Or if she was down, I was up. So I was really fortunate enough that I found her, because she had the skills she had to know how to put it online, know how to do all the marketing, because that's not me, man. I knew how to cook and talk to people.
Talk about it.
And talk about it. That was it. And so that really, it's almost like we struck lightning, or lightning hit us, because it just it worked for what we were trying to do, and we hit it right when barbecue was starting to get really mainstream and popular. Yeah. And then YouTube come along, and we decided we had a company that was wanting us to do some videos so they could put it on their website, like a sponsor type of what it was like to be at a barbecue contest.
Right.
And so we was like, yeah, we can do that. We don't have any cameras or anything. But they're like, well, let's send you a little flip cam. It's one of these little USB cams. And let's go around and record what it's like, man, the party, the food. I was like, all right, well, we got that. And I said, great, we filled it up. Let's put it online. Well, it's such a big file. You couldn't email it back then.
Right.
It was like,
we'll mail it. We'll mail you this thumb drive.
So that's what they said we had to do. And Michelle's like, there's got to be a better way. So she was working. and they were the company she was at was doing some YouTube videos, and she said, "Well, there's this new thing called YouTube. Let me see if we can upload this here, and then we can host it on the YouTube, and we can send you a link to it." And I was like, "All right, well, we'll try it." And man, they were like, "This is great because we have."
Oh, then you could film stuff and
yeah. And then she said, "Well, when we're doing this, why don't we start up our own and start? We got the camera they gave us.
Right.
We can start making our own videos and doing it." And so we did. And that's how we come. We come out with How to BBQ Right.
Yeah. So we're the name. All right. Well, hold on. Now we got dinner here.
Yeah.
So this is where we say we get into the meat of it. Instead of the meat of it, we'll get into the fish of it today. So I did know that you do like our catfish. And what you might not know, so I do have a catfish plate here. Yeah. Grab what you want. Coleslaw. I got some potato salad, some hush puppies. Yeah. I love tartar sauce. There's a little hot sauce there if you want. Dig in, get what you want. I don't know if you know this, but I'll tell you the little story behind our catfish. And most people across the country, if they're not from here or they haven't been here, they know us as a barbecue restaurant, and they don't realize that we have award-winning catfish, and we've won awards for catfish, in Memphis. And I'll tell you where it came from. So when our Collierville store opened, that was my first store, as I was the general manager of. And there was a catfish restaurant in Mississippi, not too far from us, and every Friday night, so many people went there to eat. And
I'm not going to let you go while we're here.
Dig in.
I'm listed.
Yeah, and so at the time, the owners came to me and they were like, "What should we do? Should we do, an all-you-can-eat rib night on that same?" Everybody, I said, "No, I'm never doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm never doing that."
Yeah.
And I said, "But what I will do is I'd like to create a recipe for catfish." And they were like, "No, we're a barbecue restaurant. We're a barbecue restaurant." I'm like, "Well, we are, but we're also a southern restaurant. I mean, we could do catfish." Oh my gosh! Look how you're making that. Oh my gosh!
Don't think I'm a rookie at eating catfish.
Holy cow! And so they said, okay, and I said I'll do it one day a week, and we did it on Wednesdays, and we created this great batter because people from outside of this area think, oh, catfish, it's not a great fish. No, it's a great fish. It is a fantastic fish with great flavor. And then our batter, a lot of times people just do cornmeal, and it's very plain. And ours has real flavor to it, as a southern food should. And so we did homemade hush puppies and homemade tartar sauce. And it was like we only had to do it one day a week.
Yeah.
At one day a week we can do it. And it became so popular that we moved it to the second restaurant. And then it was so popular there on Wednesdays that we said, let's just put this on the menu. And we put it on the menu at all 4 restaurants, and it's been there ever since. But it literally was to, compete with, a catfish place that was a few miles down the road because that's where everyone went, because that was the only place that had good catfish.
Friday night is fish night, Mississippi.
See?
It is.
I know. That's where it started.
Yep.
So, okay, for people who are listening and not watching on YouTube, I'm going to just explain what Malcolm just did with this piece of catfish. So, we have big catfish fillets, and they're fried, and it's almost like a little boat. I'm going to say, if you flip it upside down, almost like a little boat with a little channel in there. And he just covered it with hot sauce. Louisiana hot sauce, and then he filled the boat with our tartar sauce, which tartar sauce to me, it's one of my favorite things. Oh my gosh. And
squeeze it with the lemon though too.
Absolutely.
Hit it with the lemon too.
I mean, he just made the best looking piece of catfish I've ever seen.
I mean, look at that. I don't know if
you did it right. You made a boat, like a little handle.
Yeah, that's it, man.
So I want to ask you about the very first time. So you start this website, you're doing a newsletter, almost like a blog. People are buying your seasonings, all the way back from competition. Now they're buying it. And you're doing videos. The first time you do a video, are you nervous? Are you thinking, I'm not sure what to say? Or were you just yourself from day one?
That was the only way I knew how to do it. Was we're going to sit down, and it's like my friend, I always imagine, you're one of my buddies is sitting right here across from me, and I'm talking to you just like we're talking here. Yep. And so I didn't have any experience. None of us had any. My wife didn't have any experience. Those first videos, we didn't even edit them. Right. They were just raw. We just put them on, and it might be 20 minutes of us trimming a slab of ribs or some chicken or something.
Not talking
or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's just how it was. So we kind of learned as we went, but we knew that it had to be real. if it was going to work.
100%.
So Rochelle didn't want to act. She didn't want me on there acting. She didn't want me on there trying to be somebody I wouldn't.
It's too hard.
And when we would try to do that stuff, like a sponsor would want us to try to put something in, it just didn't come off right.
It's not natural, is it?
It's not at all.
I've said that for so long. Like, what you see with me is what you get.
Yeah,
That's how I am in person. That's how I'm on TV. This is how I'm in videos. That's just me. And because if I tried to be something else, first of all, I couldn't keep up with that. It would be different the next time or whatever. And I feel I'm a big relationship person. I love to build relationships and meet people and know them and call them friends for a long time, And I think that's what has probably made you so successful. It's similar to me when I'm on QVC. I'm talking to that one person. Like, I'm picturing, Gene or whoever I've met, like, in that camera, and I know I'm actually talking to you. Mm-hmm. I know how you love our product, how you use it, what because they've told me, and so then I'm speaking to them. And just like I would be at a party or I'm having people to tailgate or barbecue, you want to entertain them. And you're like, oh my gosh, try this. Like, that's just me. I'm a pusher. Like, oh, try this. Try these drummies. I bet you never had these. But it's because I'm excited about it because I love it, and that's just who I am. And I think that comes across just magically on camera or on audio or whatever. I think that's so important. When you try to be somebody you're not, that it doesn't work.
Yeah, no,
people see through it.
I agree, and I think that's one thing about this form of media that reason why it's kicking TV's butt is because it is real.
Yeah,
it's real niche. I mean, if somebody's going to watch me, they're going to watch this big guy from Mississippi
right.
cook food.
Right.
I mean, you can't get any more specialized than that. But people eat it up because they feel like I'm hanging out with them.
They also feel like they can do it.
Yeah, and they can do it.
Yep.
Yeah. That's one thing too. You gotta have good stuff. It can't just be
Absolutely.
crap you're putting out there. It's got to be decent. But we really learned as we went, and we're still learning. Man, if you ever hear me say that I know it all about barbecue,
right? I like to hold you up on that pedestal up there. That you do. But if there was somebody out there starting out and they want to start, I try to get my son to do a YouTube channel for sports because he's a sports freak and he knows everything about it. I'm like, dude, you could be the kid and he's like, I'm not doing that. It's embarrassing. I'm like, whatever. But some advice you might give to somebody who wants to start a podcast or a YouTube channel or whatever, would it be just be yourself?
That and just do it.
Just
like Nike says, just do it.
Yeah.
Because until you just jump in, I mean, the hesitating is the worst thing.
And you didn't get to 1.5 million followers on YouTube overnight, did you?
Yeah, no. It's slow crawl. I mean, that's what I tell Rochelle. We do. It's the art of the slow play.
Right.
Everybody's
just like
got
barbecue.
the fast play. Yeah, we've got low and slow. That's been my motto for years. I don't do anything fast. The only thing I do fast is probably eat.
That is awesome.
But yeah, it's that sitting there and talking about it and having ideas is great.
Yeah.
But until you just get out there and jump in and start and find your way, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right.
I guess.
If you fail, you fail. So what?
No, I've never. There's been a lot of stuff I've done that failed at.
Too.
But you don't look at them as failures. Look at them as something you learned.
That's
what you're going to do different next time.
Exactly right. Yeah, because I think I've learned way more, and I've said it on here before, way more in the failures than I've had. And I've had plenty. I know I've learned from that what exactly I do not want to do and what I do want to do based on those failures. And those hit you hard, and it's not a bad thing. It feels bad in the moment, but when you come away from it, it makes you so much stronger.
Oh, yeah.
I 100% agree with that.
If anybody tells you that everything they've done is a complete success, they're bold-faced lying.
They're lying. They're acting.
Yeah, that's right.
So I ask this when we do the main course every time. So take me back to your favorite home-cooked meal when you were growing up.
Oh, man. God, my mom has these meals that she cooks for us. She asked, my brother's, I don't even know what his is. Mine's pot roast.
Okay.
My mom's pot roast. She makes the best home, you get the mashed potatoes and you put the pot roast over it that's been cooked down. She makes homemade cornbread, Southern style.
Yeah.
And to me, that's my meal. Like if I go back, hang out with my parents, she's like, "You ready for me?"
That's what you want.
Yeah, my birthday, it's pot roast. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I come up with a family that cooks.
Right.
I mean, I'm talking about everything's good. Everything's good.
Right. But that's
pot
your
roast
thing.
Is my meal. Yeah.
That's cool. And I think the reason I asked that is is I almost can see it in everybody's face when I ask that question. It's literally like you can transport back to your kitchen when you were growing up. You can literally smell it, of it cooking, and it's these memories. And I think food does that more than anything else out there. You can go by a bread factory and you're like, oh my God, I remember that bread plant on Summer Avenue when I was growing up. I mean, it elicits these awesome memories, and that's why I always ask that, because it just takes you right back to that place.
I can see the roaster, the old roaster.
You know what the kitchen looks like. Yeah.
No,
it's cool. It's cool. Food does that. There's not many. You can see an old car and kind of like, oh, I remember the old car, but nothing but food and the aroma and the taste and the flavor takes you right back. You get all those sensations, and I think I love that about food.
So what's yours? What's your?
Well, that's a good question. So I have a few. So I love meatloaf. Oh, yeah. Love meatloaf.
Do you do a meatloaf at Corky's?
No.
Oh, that'd be cool. We
could do a good barbecue meatloaf. Yeah. And then my mom made, which I still ask her to sometimes, and it's simple. It's nothing fancy. Which is probably, similar to a pot. Right? Yeah. It's not the fancy. It's not the over the top. It's just the thing that reminds me the most. And she did an eclair cake for my birthdays. Everybody else got a regular birthday cake, but I didn't want that. It's graham crackers and pudding, and graham crackers and pudding, and then chocolate frosting on top. And it was cold. I could eat the whole thing. I made little squares out of it. I still love it. And so it's funny because I can still picture. It was in probably an old pan, and it wasn't anything nice, but I loved it. I still love it.
But it was the love and the time. Yeah. So that's the same thing with the pot roast. It's the love and the time I know my mom put into doing that.
Right.
It makes it so special.
I know. Yeah. So I noticed, you have a connection, I believe, and you have a link on your site to Meatloaf's AmazingRibs.com.
Yeah.
So how are you connected with him? How do you know him?
Meathead. Man, I met him just through barbecue. I think we joined the National Barbecue Association years ago.
Yeah.
And they were they're having a big national conference every year.
Right.
Usually it's in the spring, and I met him at one of those conferences, and he was doing something very similar with his website. It's more, it was kind of it got started as a forum.
Right.
And, and he was doing the same thing. He's helping people, learn to cook better barbecue.
Yeah.
He takes it way more in depth than I do.
Very scientific. Yeah.
Yeah. He's got guys testing all kinds of products and gets into the.
It's like the Consumer Reports of barbecue.
It is. It's way over my head.
Right.
That's too much for a boy from Mississippi. But no, he's a good guy, and I hadn't talked to him in a while. But we had a little.
He does a. He has a paid portion of his site with tons of members, and he does a. It's like a talk. Of course, I'm going to forget the name right now. Of course, but like once a month or whatever, and those you can join in, and it's online, and there's hosts or guests, and so I was a guest a few weeks ago, awesome. And it was fun. It was about being in the restaurant business. What's the difference between like being in competitive barbecue or a small food truck, and people are like, oh, that's great food, you should open a restaurant. Everybody wants to do that, and what are the challenges and stuff. So it's a pretty cool conversation. But you do work with grill grates.
I'm buddies with
your buddies with those are the. Let me tell you, and I'll put a plug in. I don't even know him. Yeah. Those are so fantastic. My buddy has a store here that sells Big Green Eggs and Yeti and stuff, and he's the one that gave me. He said, "You have to get these. You have to get these." And I was like, "Well, it already has a grate, whatever. Those are awesome."
Man, I love them. For real, I have a set, and I had Brad on my podcast not too long ago.
Okay.
And we talked about it, and he was like, when he first started that business, he had some investors, and he was like, I don't want part of it because you're selling a product that has no, people are going to buy it one time, and that's it. And why would they buy it again?
Yeah.
Well, he was like, I don't think so. We can make different ones for different grills, and I think it's such a good product.
Right.
That people are, and he's exactly right. I've got one for every grill I own.
See, exactly.
But they work so good, and it's something about. Not just for like seared steaks or stuff. They conduct heat really well.
Yeah. So it's almost like it adds that convection level because the meat's up above the.
And it radiates it up the channel. Yep.
It's super smart.
Yeah, they are. They're really good product. Besides a meat thermometer, that's probably the number one grill accessory I use.
Yeah. Do you think that people are surprised that someone like you that would use a meat thermometer?
I don't know if they're surprised, but I don't understand why everybody doesn't cook with one.
They don't.
Because, the whole thing about, and I get, like, barbecue's not an exact science, and a lot of times you cook to feel, but I'm all about doing something consistently. So if I cook a technique and I cook the temperature, I don't care, throw time out the window.
Right.
I'm always cooking the temperature.
Yep.
I'm perfect. It's right every time.
And
I learned that from the competition side of things.
I know. I think that should get out there more, because I think so many people think that's a shortcut, or I must not be a good cook if I need to temp it. And it's so wrong.
Yeah.
It's totally wrong.
For one, not just on the doneness side, it's really food safety too. Because the last thing I want to do is make somebody sick, and I'm always sharing my food with somebody.
Of course.
So that's and being in a restaurant, how important food safety is.
It is, yeah.
But
but even just to serve at your house a good, perfectly cooked, whatever it is, steak or burger, or chicken,
that's it, yeah.
especially. I think thermometers are great too, and I think more people should use them. But I don't know what the holdup is with that.
Yeah,
but people are like, oh, I know how to cook. I can push it, and I can too.
Yeah, I can get close.
I can too, but it might not always be, it might not always be right. So what advice would you give? Oh my gosh!
So two desserts.
What advice would you give yourself if you went back to before you started this? What are some things that you learned, or some struggles that you had? You're like, okay, I wouldn't have done that, or any advice you'd give yourself?
Man, that's a tough one. I would say just to double the content.
I know.
Double down on everything I've done.
Yeah.
Work harder.
Yeah.
That's been the biggest thing with what we and Rochelle's done is we took, and I don't know where Rochelle was probably reading one of these self-help books back in the day, and it was like, work for 2 years harder than anybody in your life, and you can live the rest of your life like nobody.
Yeah.
Or something. I never bought into all that crap, But she had that ethic, and that's what we instilled with what me and her were doing. We never stopped. I mean, we were packing and shipping out of our garage. It was 24 hours a day. Everything we were doing, we were making videos. I was trying to go on the road and cook contests, and it was always at home writing newsletters and getting up and just rinse and repeat, and repeat. And we did that 2 years. She said, "Oh, just give me 2 more." And it's been 4 years now, 6 years now, it's 10. And
you said this was 2 years.
Yeah, but that's over 15 years, Shell. You said 2 years harder than nobody. I said 15 years. So what are we doing? And we stand back and look at it, and it's like, man, it seems like it's yesterday.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing is just, if you enjoy something, you have a passion for it, jump in and do it.
Right.
I mean, and work hard at it.
And
it won't feel
I
like
think sharing it with others, it's like there's plenty of people that charge for everything, right? And I sell stuff, and I'm in the restaurant side. What I love about what you do, and I think really successful people like you share your knowledge. You want to teach people. You want them to be part of it. There's of course a sell aspect to it because it's a business, but you want people to be engaged. You want people to like what you cook. You want people to go, I made that recipe. That's an awesome recipe. I mean, because that's what you like about the business.
Yeah.
And I think that's your passion, and that's why people enjoy it.
That's probably the thing that's worth it to me the most is when somebody off the streets comes up and says, "Hey, man, I watched your video and I cooked this recipe, and everybody said it was the best thing I've ever cooked."
And it made them feel good and look good.
That's right. And when somebody tells you that it's something you did, it's just positive, and it doesn't get any better than that. I don't care. You take all the sales of rubs and sauces, all that stuff away. I mean, it's the fact that somebody's taking something that you did and using that to make them a better cook or something. They're taking that knowledge and they're doing something with it.
And to me, that's what makes it. Yeah, that's what makes it worth it. I've said for years, when people say, what's your favorite thing about business, or what's your most proud of, or whatever, and I'm like, when I make someone else successful, I feel proud. Like, that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Is if I can move someone forward or inspire them or whatever, that's my favorite thing. And it's exactly what you just said. When someone comes up to you, I made this, and everyone loved it. It's that piece. It's not just that I made that recipe and it was good. It was that everyone loved it. And that person, you made that person look good because you helped them and they learned from it. And that's what I think is the difference maker. It's those little tiny pieces, of whether it's food or whatever, that make the difference. And and that's why I try to tell my kids, just go after it, just do it. And it does not come easy. Just like you said, you worked hard 2 years, and then it turned to 4, then it turned to 6. Now it's 15. You just keep working. But if you love what you do and you get little tiny bits of feedback like that where someone goes, I made that recipe and everyone loved it, that makes you go, okay, it was worth it.
Yeah, all that hard work,
that was worth it. Yeah, I didn't
and,
feel like being there that day, but I filmed that video, and it was cold or whatever it was, but this is worth it. It made it worth it. So what's if you're entertaining people, you're having people over, what's your go-to? What do you make? What does Malcom Reed make that's not, I cooked this yesterday on my recipe a video?
That's because we cook stuff all the time. I mean, if somebody's coming to my house, we're probably going to have just a really good steak, potatoes, some asparagus, some bread and butter, a couple bottles of wine. We're going to sit down and we're going to talk.
You do a steak butter?
Oh, yeah. I always do a compound steak butter. Always.
Yeah.
But that's just like, I mean, if I had to pick something, one thing, it's like that I cook that I really like. Most stuff I cook, it's like, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Or you would have it sometimes.
I ain't never cooked a bad ribeye steak.
That's what I eat ribeyes. I love ribeyes.
Yeah. But that's that's mine and Shell's go-to dinner. We can turn that out as good as any chef in Memphis. I promise you, a steak dinner.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I mean, on a small scale,
right.
No disrespect for chefs.
No, it's different when you're. Yeah. I agree because it's when I'm at home, I could do maybe 6-8 steaks. I cook on Big Green Egg.
Yeah.
But in a restaurant, putting out 25 at one time, different temps, no way.
Yeah, I don't want none of that.
Like everybody's gonna kind of get it medium rare.
Yeah.
And
that's
what
I
you're
like
going to get.
That's right. Like medium rare.
Right. And if you don't like it, then when I sit down, you can take yours back to
out.
the grill.
That's me.
Because I'm done with it.
Yeah. But I like cooking all kinds of stuff, man. Different cuisines. I'm a big fan of jerk food.
I love jerk food.
The Mexican style food. I love that. Italian. Who doesn't love Italian? So I dabble in a little all of it.
What have you found with your recipe videos and the videos that you do? What's the thing that makes it go viral? Or I have 3 things, and I'll tell you after you tell me. But ones that you would go, that when you're thinking of a recipe or working through it, you're looking for certain things, and what are those it factors that you think that makes it pop or people enjoy it, or at least your fans enjoy?
Yeah. That's something we struggle to find because, I mean, of course you think the big meats. Like if I'm cooking a brisket, that's going to be a big one. If I'm cooking ribs, that's going to be a big one. But with the way people are viewing stuff now, especially with the short form content, like the TikTok content, the Instagram quick videos, the YouTube shorts, we're seeing that it's more out of the box type stuff. So we're taking something that's like that. I did this cream cheese where it's just a block of cream cheese you season and put on the smoker and then top it. Yeah. There's nothing to it. I mean, it's the most basic, simple thing.
It's amazing.
And then it gets 14 million eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know. So some of this over the top stuff. I mean, you see these trends.
Yeah.
It started, the first one that I really remember when I come back from a national barbecue conference one year, and I went to a restaurant, and there was this Heim's barbecue in Fort Worth. They were doing bacon burn-ins, and I'd never seen that before.
Wow.
Everybody knows, brisket point burn-ins.
Yeah.
And I come back and I said, man, I'm going to duplicate that. So I said, I'm going to do, instead of just using bacon, I'm going to do pork belly burn-ins. And I called all kinds of flack over it. Nobody wanted to see it. And then all of a sudden this trend started where everything went pork belly.
Right.
Everybody was doing the burn-ins. Now they're selling them in grocery stores.
Absolutely.
And as far to my knowledge, I was the first one who did it, but we had no clue that it was going to happen. And so today we still don't know. I mean, you can think that you've got, some bigger ones around some holidays. And you can do a smoked turkey right now. It's probably going to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, man, you don't know what's going to be viral. And if I had that vision, that foresight,
then you'd
I'd be huge.
That's right.
Yeah.
I always say, at QVC, because I sell things on TV and it's visual. I mean, if you think, it's similar to you. You're selling something that somebody can't smell, taste, or touch, and it's like, wow,
How do you do that?
And I say, if it has cheese, or chocolate or bacon, something's going to sell. Because everybody, I think those 3 things. First of all, the cheese stringy cheese just looks amazing on camera. Chocolate, everyone loves chocolate. Bacon, because I think that everybody can literally put the flavor of bacon in their mouth if you just say it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows
plays
exactly
with
what
your senses.
it does.
Those things do.
It does. Yeah.
And I noticed the cheese off the top.
Oh,
I mean, anything cheesy.
Oh, you put cheese in it and string that cheese close up, and it just falls down. It makes your mouth water.
Yeah,
it does because you know
I
exactly.
Want some of that. I know how good melted cheese is.
Yeah. So your rubs that you do, Killer
Hogs
line.
I have a Killer Hogs line, and I have Malcom seasonings.
Malcom seasonings. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so when you do your rubs, you do them for different types of meat or different flavors on same meat?
So the majority of them started out as competition-based products that I was trying to use to really wow judges. Mm-hmm. So I knew that I had to have, you had to cross your bases with your barbecue products.
Yep.
So I made one that was, it had the essence of barbecue, but it was the Memphis and May style was a little on the sweet side.
Okay.
But you had to have savor and you had to have a little bit of heat. So it was real, but it was all balanced.
Right.
So when you sit down with a dry season in front of a judge and they try it, that you've got to be able to tell them it's going to hit all four of those notes and it do it.
Yep.
And so that was the first one. And then I made my savory one, was just like everybody had salt, pepper, and garlic in their cupboard. We used it in every recipe, every time I cooked. And so that was I called it AP. Me and my brother were big Vikings fans.
Okay.
We had a running back, Adrian Peterson, who was playing for them.
Yeah.
And everybody called him AP. And so we were using this seed. And I was playing around with names. And I said, man, I'm going to call this season AP. And they said, what's that mean? And I was like, it's all purpose. It's like AP. You plug it in for anything. And so that's how that would come up. Awesome. And then I wanted a spicier one because I don't like sweet barbecue. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've had so much of it and cooked it for judges so much. It's like the sweet flavors. And I still use it. But if you give it to me, I want savory. I want a spice.
Right.
So I come out with a hot version. I
like some heat too. Yeah.
I come out with a hot version. And so that was really my main ones. I started getting into these steak contests, and so that's how I come up with making a steak rub that I was using in steak contests.
Yeah.
And then the last one was TX brisket, and that was just my homage to, and I don't even know why anybody buys it. It's salt and pepper.
Right.
But it's so good.
Yeah.
And I use it, we use it on everything. Because you making green beans, you can put some TX on it.
Right.
Eggs, I'm putting a little TX on it. There's something about the blend, and it really was just a coarser grain salt and a coarser grain pepper that
to me, it's the balance. That's what I say this on QVC. To me, barbecue, it's like telling a story. It's all about friends and family, but it's telling a story, and you're layering in those flavors like layer chapters of a book or whatever. You're literally telling like, oh, this is this flavor and this is what it tastes like. This is this flavor. This gives you this, the sweet and so even when you said it's just salt and pepper, but it's not. It's the balance of it and the coarseness of it or whatever, the grain that gives you that. Oh, I can't just do this with a little salt and pepper shaker in my house.
Yeah.
It's different.
No, that's right. You're right.
And every little tweak is different. Every little tiny tweak.
Yeah.
And so somebody's making barbecue rub at home and they want to make their own rub. Would you say more of like a dash of this, a dash of that, or you measure it out where it's just perfect and, it's perfectly like baking? Or is it just I like a little bit more of brown sugar, a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that?
I had to get to that way. I had to get to where I measured everything, and it wasn't just by volume. It was by weight and all that.
Right.
But when I first started, it was, we're going to put some of this in it. We're going to put so much chili powder, and we're going to put, 2 or 3 different kinds of paprika some we got at Sam's, some we got at Penske's here. And then, it needs more brown sugar. Let me sweeten it up and get it right.
Yeah.
And then, it got to where, man, that batch wasn't as good as last time. And so me and my brother said, we got to sit down. We got to write it down.
You do.
So we wrote it down. I wish I still had that recipe because it was on the old legal pad. I remember the yellow legal pad. I would frame it.
Yeah.
But there's no telling what happened to
That's
it.
funny.
But now I've learned, because I still tinker with different seasonings and stuff all the time. And I really like to take something that I have and turn it into something else.
Right.
Because I can tell people in a video,
it's a great base.
Yeah, it's a great base.
Yeah.
And then tweak it to your liking.
Right.
And I'm real, what if I'm feeling like I want something else in it that day? If I want, smokiness, so I want to add some more cumin and chipotle or something like that. Or whatever, and so I'm always doing stuff like that. And a lot of times it probably bites me in the butt because I don't write it down.
Because you were like, I like that when I did. What did I do on that one? You need to tell Rochelle to keep
and
up
then
with that.
It depends on if the bourbon slips in there, you really.
Oh, that's right. You're like, that was the best stuff ever. I don't remember.
Can't do that one
again. What's on your bucket list? What do you still want to do? What's your new thing you're doing?
So when I'm not barbecuing, I'm hunting and fishing. And so we've
what kind of fishing?
Man, any kind. I like going offshore. I like bass fishing. I love catfishing.
Yeah.
You know, I got a buddy that guides on the river. Man, I've been out with. We got to take my son out with him.
That's cool.
Man, that's some of the most fun we've had.
Yeah.
But yeah, hunting season's coming up. But we're kind of starting up a side of of an outdoor business to where we kind of do the same thing, how to barbecue right style with hunting and the hunting industry, where these are for people that may have to lease some land. You don't necessarily own your own land,
right?
Or you might have a little piece of land. Just what can you do to improve the quality of your habitat? To improve your hunting odds and to manage, like a deer herd and to use the resources and what you have available for a novice. And that's because that's what I am. It's just going to be, I'm going to share my journey. Me and Rochelle have been fortunate enough to where we were able to purchase a little piece of land down in Tate County, which is, outside Senatobia, not too far. So we've been spending time down there. And as I've been, learning, that's what we want to kind of share along the same lines of a podcast and website, and I don't know if it's going to have products or whatever, but it's really just going to be about giving information. Just giving information away. Giving information, sharing the information that we're learning as we go. And we ain't saying it's right. And that goes back to the whole thing about how to barbecue right. You asked me about the name. It's not that this is the right way to do it. It's not the wrong way. Just getting out there and doing it is right. Mm-hmm. There's a million ways to cook barbecue and good barbecue. And barbecue means different stuff to different people.
It does.
But how to do it right is to do it, to get out there, have fun, fellowship with your friends and family, share it with people. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so my biggest influence in barbecue was my granddaddy. He cooked for July 4th. Everybody came over, but he would get up at 4 a.m. and put his butts on, whatever, He did a mustard sauce. Do you like a mustard sauce?
Oh yeah, I do. I do like a tangy mustard sauce.
Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
I'm not big on like a sweet, like a honey mustard, but I want it to have a little balance.
His
but I like
had a
it
bite.
Have,
like it,
I
want it definitely had a bite.
It's almost like just a vinegar sauce with mustard.
With mustard, it's kind of what it was
and
like.
And some heat.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's good. Funny color on stuff, but
that's what people get over with. I don't mind it.
You don't mind it?
I'm a mustard sauce dabber.
Okay.
I'm not cooking it on, not glazing with it. I want it in the side, like in a cup, and I can.
Okay.
If I have a pork sandwich, I might pour it over.
Yeah.
If I'm eating ribs, I'm dipping that rib in it and eating it. If I'm eating wings, I'm dipping it in there.
Baby backs or spare ribs?
Man, that's like ribeye or strip. It depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I love a good baby back.
Yeah.
But I like the fattiness of that spare rib reminds me of a ribeye steak.
Yep.
It's got
I know.
they're both good.
They're both good.
If I had to pick one, I'd probably go spare rib. I'll tell everybody that being a Memphis.
All right. You had some catfish.
Man, it was good.
You can't have a good meal without dessert, especially in the South, I think. So I got you some. Yeah, come on, feed your guys here. Look, I gotta get some people. Yeah. You got people. I need to get some people. No, I got the best people in the world. So I've got you banana pudding, or Southern caramel cake. 4-layer.
Oh God, man,
Southern caramel. Look at that right here.
Can we split it?
See, I told you I'm a pusher. I'm a pusher.
I think.
Yeah, we can. Yeah,
I'm gonna get a new fork.
There you go. Get a new fork.
Yeah. I got to try the banana pudding, but I got to try the caramel cake too. I'm not gonna lie.
So we've got great banana pudding. I'm not just saying that.
No.
Like,
I know.
The funny thing is I used to do a lot of stuff at Graceland, and I've had Mary Ann, who was there, did a lot of caterings there.
Oh man!
And I don't care if the people ordered banana pudding or not. The people we were feeding, Mary Ann was like, "Don't forget my banana pudding."
Yeah. All right. I'm not being shy here.
Please don't be shy.
Caramel cake and banana pudding.
It's so good, isn't it?
Oh, that was still warm.
See, I love our cake slices warmed up just a little bit. You have to ask, but
amazing.
That's how the strawberry cake, like 10 seconds in the microwave. Oh. Yeah. All right. So I did the spare ribs or baby backs. Any hobbies other than barbecue? Well, you said hunting and fishing.
Hunting and fishing, yeah.
So is it going to be how to hunt right?
No.
Then everybody's going to go, that's not right.
Yeah. I'm not going to do that one. That name was for lack of. I couldn't think of anything better.
Well, the funny thing is you were in the forefront of it, so you can say that. But people have been hunting forever. You can't walk in and go, this is how to hunt right.
Yeah, that's right.
They go, who are you? In grill accessory, is the must-have grill accessory, use a thermometer?
I'm going to say, my grill grate or my thermometer first.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get paid by them, but ThermoWorks, ThermoPen.
Yeah.
That's probably the number one thing
Digital,
I use. Digital instant read. You've
folds
probably
up.
seen them. Chefs use them and stuff.
Yeah.
You pay about $100 for one, but it'll last you forever. I've got one. Probably the first one I ever bought.
Right.
20 years ago.
Yeah. How long do you leave rub on when you're doing ribs before you cook it?
Well, the ribs, I don't like it to go much longer than an hour. I mean, I want it to start working on the meat and start pulling some moisture out.
So what do you think about, so when people are doing it at home and they're just, hey, they got a Traeger, they got a pellet smoker, they got something, and they want to cook ribs and they season it. I feel like that they want to season them way in advance.
Yeah, and I don't know. I get, the dry brining effect you get.
Mm-hmm.
But on something like a rib, and what's going to happen is that salt and that sugar and that seasoning is going to start pulling that moisture out. It's going to dry it out. But one, it's going to start almost like a curing process. So you can tell the difference in when you get a smoke ring and it's, a light smoke ring, but when you cure it and it's got that ham-like texture,
right.
It's because that there's so much rub and sugar on it for so long.
Yeah, yeah. What's something you can't do?
That I can't do?
Yeah. What's there something you can't do you wish you could do?
Man.
Oh, he's over there. He's nodding. He's smiling. He's nodding and smiling. He's like, let's see what he's got here.
Let's see. I've always wanted to be able to whistle with two fingers.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's so good. A friend of mine, Doug,
can't do it.
He goes, Doug Golden can do that.
I can't do it at
all. Favorite vacation spot?
Oh, man.
You take time for yourself, right?
Yes. It's Jamaica.
Oh.
Yeah. Me and Michelle had our honeymoon. I went on my honeymoon the first time.
Okay.
In 2008, and we've been back, I don't know, over half dozen times.
And you said this is where we're going.
Yeah. I've been to a lot of the Caribbean islands.
Right.
I love the people. I love the cuisine.
Yeah. We go.
When we go, we do stay at a resort, but we always say, man, we got to get a car. We got to get outside. We got to get some real
and get the real people.
Yeah, the real jerk. And that's where I go.
Yeah, cool.
And the grill's beautiful. Montego over a quick trip.
I've never been to Jamaica.
Oh, really?
We do the British Virgin Islands a lot. I like them, but it's the people. The real.
The Bahamians are great. The people there are great. And I love going down there. Like I did a big steak contest down there.
How was that?
Oh, it was unbelievable.
I bet the food was amazing.
Well, the people are amazing.
Yeah.
The food's just okay.
Really?
It's a laid back lifestyle. They don't really.
So they were like, "It's okay."
Yeah. It's like,
it's okay if it's not perfect.
That's right. We'll eat some fried conch or whatever, and some fries, and they're good with that. But we're gonna have all the Goombay smashes and the beer and all that stuff. So, but the Jamaican, they really care about their food.
Yeah,
it's a food culture.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
I love chicken, and I like full flavor.
Yes,
full flavor stuff. It doesn't really matter what it is. I love it from different cultures and areas and
me too.
I'm
not afraid to try anything.
Yeah, I don't like everything, but I will usually try most everything. Yeah. What's one of the best gifts you've ever gotten?
Oh.
Better think of Rochelle.
Yeah, I'm thinking, man.
Yeah. You're like, who?
She gave me a real nice Martin guitar last year.
Do you play guitar?
I play guitar.
You play? I want to learn it. I took it as a kid, but I really wish I could just sit down and, because I always say in my next life I'll be a country music singer.
Yeah.
Not like one that plays in bars, but super famous one.
Oh, yeah. That's me. That's what I tell her. So if I ever miss my calling, I'm going to come back as a musician.
Seriously? No, I do. I say I want to come back as a country music singer. But I wish I could play the guitar.
Yeah, I'm a banger at best, but the more you drink, the better I sound.
Yeah,
and I probably know a song or two. I probably know a few bards of a song or two that you know.
We'll have to get together. You play, I'll sing. And everyone will go home. And they're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no doubt.
How do you like your steak cooked?
Medium rare.
Me
all
too.
Day
yeah.
long, all day long.
Yeah. Favorite holiday?
Thanksgiving.
That was quick.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it.
The rest of them are my second favorite holidays.
The rest of them.
I mean, I love Christmas, my second favorite holiday, but Thanksgiving, because for one, we're giving thanks.
Yeah.
You know, for everything that we've gotten. Not just
and we do have a lot to be thankful for. Yeah.
We all do.
Yes.
And then it's not about gifts. It's just about fellowship. It's about food and
Yeah.
having a good time and
Right.
just being thankful. Man, how can you get better than that?
That's
and
great.
it usually kicks off deer season, so I get to go hunting. You're watching
See,
football.
you had everybody until right then. You had everybody. Listen to him. Listen to him. That is so great.
Hey, did I kick
Thankful.
off-
And you go, and it's the deer season. How to deer hunt right. If someone wants to start competing in barbecue competitions, what advice would you give them?
Well, first off, go out and visit one and start talking to some of the teams. Most of the time, you'll find. Well, I won't say most of the time. So you're gonna find the best people in the world in competition barbecue. It's a brotherhood, man.
It is,
and it's friendly and open.
Yep.
The only time we're not friends is during
Judge
that
Day.
turn-in time.
But
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. The rest
Yeah.
of the time, I'll give you the shirt off your back. So you meet. Not only do you meet some good people, but you'll actually see if you like it. Because it's one thing to cook barbecue at your home and to let your friends and family try out and tell you how great you are. Because everybody,
Yeah.
when you're giving them
Of
something,
course.
everybody's going to say it's
Dude,
great.
That's great.
Yeah.
You should open a restaurant.
That's right. But to jump into competition barbecue, for one, it's expensive now. It used to be we could do that. We could play this game and it didn't cost us an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
But it is expensive now. And another thing is to go out and take a judging class. I feel like if you can go, and not the class isn't where you're going to learn. You're going to learn by going out and judging.
Yeah. Right.
It qualifies you to judge some of these events, and then all of a sudden you know the chess pieces.
That's
if
a
you
great-
don't, you're just throwing darts at a wall. You don't
I
know
think
what
that's
they're
a great
looking
point.
for.
I think that's a great
But,
point.
yeah.
And probably anybody that wants to enter a contest should go take a judging class.
Yeah.
Because it teaches you all the different styles. You would taste different things, and
That's
you
right.
find out what you like and what you would want to cook. And that's a great
Yeah.
a great tip.
It really is. I mean, that's how I learned. I mean,
Yeah.
it changed our game when we took. I mean, now there used to not be any barbecue classes. Nobody taught them.
Right.
You could judge and go to a judging class, but it was great not only because you're tasting what people are turning in, but you're hearing these judges at this table after it's all turned in talk about
Right.
why they like it.
Yeah.
And once you can hear them say, "Oh, that was the tenderness on this one right here was right," and they had
Yep.
that sauce that paired with it, and I like that little bit of apple.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, bingo.
Yeah.
And it's a consensus. I was like, well, I know what I'm doing next
Right,
time.
right.
And then, I mean, so it puts you ahead of the curve, you know?
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you can be on a team and go, I can cook better than that guy, and I'm going to start
Yeah.
my own team. And I think that happens, a lot. But if you really look at it like you really want to do that, I think taking a judging class would be awesome. And judge.
Yeah, and judge.
Yeah,
Go out and
go.
judge
Oh,
if
there's
you-
so many little small contests
Yeah,
everywhere you can
that
go
you can
judge.
go do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every weekend, there's one around you somewhere, more than likely.
Yeah.
Or for the majority of the states.
All right. So before we wrap up, first of all, I just want to thank you so much for coming today, and you got to tour our facility where we cook our ribs for grocery and shipping. Did it surprise you?
It did, man. I would tell you I was shocked. I had no idea what it took.
Yeah.
And the quantity of meat you guys
Right.
are moving, man.
Yeah.
It's incredible to
Yeah.
see all those cookers go and the way you package it and it's the care that's put into all that.
And you met some of the
Just-
long-term
yeah,
people,
yeah.
and it's funny because some of them, yelled out. And they're like, "Jimmy," it's all. I mean, it's awesome because this Corky's is really a family to me, and that's why, I worked to buy it because it's been my whole life, and and my family. I met my wife at Corky's years and years ago, and all the great people that have been here for so long all started right there at the original restaurant, and now the different parts of our business. But to me, that's so rare in a business as big as we are to have so many experts in what our real food is like and what it's supposed to be. And it's rare, and it's awesome because it's like we have all these little mini teachers everywhere because they've been around forever, which is great. So I'm glad I got to have you take a tour.
Hey, man, I appreciate it because not everybody pulls the curtain back.
I did.
And lets you see. You did, yeah. You didn't hold back. And, for one thing, you speak to the people that were there. They were smiling. Everybody was smiling. It was like, I mean, how many places do you go to where they're working? Like
right, and they were working.
yeah. And it's just,
that's
was
really
happy.
cool.
Yeah. It was neat.
Now, I've always found, and I don't care where it is in business, if you work, I work to build relationships because we might compete against each other. I feel like that everything is different. Everybody has their own edge. There's space for everyone. And I would much rather go through life and my business world with knowing a lot of people and having a great relationship with them than thinking, oh, they're going to steal something from me or they're going to copy me. I really feel like, and this is the honest truth, and I try to teach this to everyone here, is that every day I compete with myself. I just want to get better than I was yesterday. Everyone else can compete with everybody else. I don't care. Yeah, I want to be. I'd rather be friends with you, than say we're competing. We might be in the same exact space, but just like having you on here, like I think of you as the expert. There's levels of everything, but you've had this amazing success, and when people follow you, they don't follow you because you're not teaching them something, that you're not giving them something that they like, and they stick around for a long time, and you've done that. And that, to me, it's like building relationships. There's nothing better than that. There's nothing better than that.
I agree. I mean, that's what it's all about. We come into this earth, if we can leave it a little bit better than we found it and help people along the way and build those positive relationships. Yep. And then have a little fun doing it. That's a positive life.
And we're fortunate because we get to work in barbecue.
That's right.
That's the most fun.
Oh, yeah. No, you're exactly right. No, thank you so much, Jim.
Absolutely. So the one thing I say before we wrap up the episode every time, how about that? As I say that I hope you enjoyed your meal and ribbing with me. I know that I did. And my hope is to inspire everyone listening to call up an old friend or someone you want to get to know better, invite them to a meal, and have a great conversation.
Hey, this was fantastic.
Awesome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, Malcolm.